Hello, everybody. It's Gwen with CraftyLadyDesigns.com. I'm making another tutorial today. I made one yesterday on a card box. We made this one, and it's out of paper. It was out of a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, paper, primarily cardstock, and decorated with designer paper, made a little tag. And I had indicated that the design had come off of a couple of card boxes I made, and these card boxes are made from chipboard, covered with designer paper, and they're sturdier and they're just a little bit bigger, not much, just a little deeper and wider, but not much, than the one we made yesterday. And I indicated that I'd make a tutorial on this as well, so thus the tutorial. Um, the card boxes are nice and sturdy. They'll hold a lot of greeting cards, A2 cards and envelopes. Make a nice gift to make about 10 cards and envelopes, put in here, wrap with a ribbon, and give as a gift as well. But I have these lined up on my counter like so, several, with my cards stored in them. You can put different occasion cards in different boxes. You can put Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's, etc. And then during Christmas, I had my cards, my Christmas cards, all in here with their envelopes ready to sign, address, and get in the mail. So let's get started. I've pre-cut some things. Now we are going to use chipboard. This chipboard is a medium weight chipboard. You have to cut it with either a roto trim, a craft knife. I score mine with an old cutting tool that I have. I score it with an old score blade, and then I go back and I use my craft knife and cut it. I do have a roto trim, but it is piled with several projects that I haven't finished. So I've already cut out the pieces that we'll need, and we're going to cover it with pattern paper inside and out, and I've pre-cut them as well. There's a couple things I haven't cut that I wanted to show you how to cut. We're also going to need construction strips. Now, if you're not familiar with construction strips, I cut strips. I take a 12 by 12 piece of paper. You use any color you want. I primarily use craft, but on this one I used black chipboard, so I used black paper to cut my construction strips. They're an inch wide, scored down the center at a ½ inch. I use 3/8 inch tape on either side of the score line. You fold them in half like so. You measure the length that you need. You miter the corners. So I'll show you that as we go along. And I use these to construct the box, but then I also go and I cut them this way, and I use them to cap off the seams. Now, even if you covered this box with, say, all the way around with one piece of paper, etc., your seams are going to be raw. They're going to be sharp. So in my opinion, I prefer to cover the outside seams as well, and I'll show you that when we get to it. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to need medium weight chipboard, you're going to need designer paper, and you're going to need some glue or ATG gun or tape, whatever, to cover, to use on your paper. And then you're going to also need your construction strips. Now, I've cut two pieces for the sides. These are the sides. Two pieces of cardstock at 4.5 by 6. It's 6 inches tall, 4.5 wide. Now, you can see that I've made some lines here, and I'll show you in a minute what we're going to do with those. We're going to cut on these lines, and this is going to give the look on the side of your box, okay? We do that to the paper as well. So you need two 4.5 by 6 for the sides. You're going to need one 3 by 6 for the spine. You're going to need one 3 by 4.5. This is the bottom, and you're going to need one 2 by 3, 2 by 3 for the front. And we're going to put these together with our construction strips. So we're going to start now. These cuts at this angle have to be at a mirror image, especially on your pattern paper, and if you have a directional paper, that type of thing. It's not major on this, quite frankly, because you can turn them over, but I still try to make them a mirror image to keep in my mind that that's what I'm going to need to do for my pattern paper. You're going to take your construction strips and you're going to measure what you need along here, which is, I recall, I think 6 inches. You're going to cut 2 of those, one for either side. And then we're going to fold them in half. And I miter the corner just a little bit, not a 45, but just from the tip in. And it eliminates, there again, you're going to fold this in half. It eliminates some of the bulk when they cross over. These are very easy to make. Now you're going to pull off. Oh dear. Hello. Wait a minute. I've lost you. Where are you? There you are. Let me fix something real quick. There we go. You're going to pull off your score tape on one side, and you're going to lay this, the folded edge, right along the very edge of your chipboard, like so, and then burnish it down. Then you're going to take your spine piece and you're going to butt that up next to that. You're going to pull off the other tape backing on the other side. And you're going to butt this up like so, just real close, and you're going to stick it down as well. You're going to take your other piece of construction strip that we just made, and you're going to put that along the spine's very edge. Stick it down, burnish it down, turn it around, pull off your tape backing on the other side. I don't do that until I get to it. And then you're going to butt that up as well, just like we did. Just butt it up and put it down and burnish it. Now, while we're at this point, I'm going to, and then here we are like so. That's going to be your, the starting of your box. I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm going to cut these off along my line. Now, you're to come in an inch and a half from this edge to that. You're going to come up 2 inches from the very bottom to here and make a tick mark, and then you're going to connect your tick marks from the 1/2 inch, and you're going to cut that off. You're going to do the same on the other side, except a mirror image. You're going to come in from the center over an inch and a half. You're going to come up from the bottom 2 inches, connect your lines like so, and then we're going to cut that off as well. And that's going to be the angle to your box. I don't know if these boxes, I mean, these are not new boxes. Boxes like this have been around a long time, but I don't know what they're called. I think we used to see them a lot in, well, they used to be kind of metal storage boxes, but they also were like in the offices way back in the day. I don't see them much now, but they did. Okay, we're going to cut this off as well. And that is going to be, okay, so we've cut off 2 of these. Now we're going to do the same thing when we get to our designer paper. Okay, now I usually, after I cut something, I usually take a little sandpaper and kind of bevel the edge, or it makes it a little smoother. You got a little raw edge there that, okay, now here we are. There is virtually, you can see here in the back. Now, you lay it back down. Now we're going to take the bottom to our box, which is going to go this way. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take a piece of construction paper. This is 3 inches wide, I believe. You're going to fold it in half. You're going to miter the corners like so. You miter the corners on the round, so it looks like that on the round part. You're going to pull off your tape backing, and you're going to put it down with the round folded part right on the edge. I'm going to pull this back, right on the edge of the back of your chipboard and burnish it. Now, you're also going to tape these two sides, because when you fold this up and you have your bottom, this has to attach to your sides as well. So while we have it this way, we're going to add our construction strip to both sides. Do the same thing, measure it, fold it in half, miter the corners. You're going to need 2 of these. I should measure that one here. I measure with the other, and they're the same on both sides. Fold it in half, and now, as we've been doing, you're going to pull off your tape backing, you're going to fold it down, and the tape side you're going to lay down on the edge of your chipboard like so. You're going to do the other side as well, and you're going to put it down like so. Now, I'm going to do the center. I'm going to take my spine the long way, butt it right up, and stick it down. Now, before I do that, and then we're going to come up like so. Before I do that, this is the front of your box. This is going to fit down here. So I'm going to as well take a construction strip and put that on, and then we're also going to have to do sides on that, because that's going to connect to the sides to close in your box. So we're going to put this down like so, right on the end, and that's going to take that, and it's going to be up, it's going, I can't get a hold, it's going to come up like that, like this, like this. So I'm going to put a couple more construction strips on the side of my front. I'll cut 2 of them. You'll see here in a minute, this is all going to fold up very easily, very neatly, and you're going to close in your box. It does not take a long time to make these boxes. Put one on this side, like so, just like we've been doing, right along the edge, and burnish it. Do the other side. Now, these are you're doing them on the short side. You're doing them on the short side because I'll show you here in a minute. The long side attaches to your bottom of your box. Okay, there we go. So we have that like that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to pull the tape backing off of the bottom, and we're going to take your front and butt that, just like we've been doing, butt it right up and stick her down. And at this point, it's going to look like so. And then we're going to fold this up and in and around, and voila, here's your box. So I'm going to do the sides first. I'm going to pull off the tape backing on the long side and attach that to the bottom of the box. Just bring it up and butt those up right to each other like so, and then go back in and burnish. And I take my bone folder and go back in and burnish. Do the same thing to the other side. You're going to pull off your tape backing. You're going to bring this in like so and line that up right on the edge. And I turn it over and then burnish it like so. Now we're going to do the little sides for the front. And it's the same way. You're going to pull off that tape backing, pull that in, and just bring that up and attach. And do the other side as well. This one's, I didn't get this, you kind of need to get that down in there before, there we go. Fold that down in there while you're folding that up. It's a little easier to get to, but anyway, we did. And pull off your tape backing as well. Oh, come on here, be nice. I'm going to get my tweezers. Be nice. There we go. then you're gonna, I kind of hold that down and then bring this in as well to meet up. Uh-oh, what'd I do? I pulled something apart. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh dear, what did I do? I know what I did. When I pulled that out, I gotta open this back up. Oh dear. When I pulled that out, I pulled out that bottom. I apologize. That was my fault. When you get to do that one, you really should have that inside. Now see, now I got to just pull this in like so. Do this again like so, and push this in when you go across with your bottom, your front, and it's already in. And then put it down. Bring that up real close. I apologize. When you put the front on, you really and you bring this front up, kind of pull in those sides, because it's kind of, this one's okay, but this one's a little harder. And when I did that, I pulled that loose. But we're all back together, and there is the box. Okay. Now we are going to take the construction strips and we're going to cover up the raw edges. And I like to start with the longer, so this will be 6 inches. We're going to need 2 of these. I like to cover up the raw edges. Now you're going to fold these in instead of out. And miter the corners a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. I'm going to do this because that's wider. You do not have to do this, but I don't like those raw edges, and they're sharp even if you cover them with when you cover them with your pattern paper. Pull off your tape backing on both sides. Now I just lay these on the seam. Just start at the top. They seem to kind of, and then go down here to the bottom, kind of bring it in like so. And they just really kind of seem to follow that seam. And see the raw edge here with the gap, and that's sharp. That could tear your paper. This will make it smoother. But I'm going to cut the paper so it's about 1/8 of an inch or so smaller. I'm going to use frayed burlap on this as well. Put this right on top of the edge. Bring down to your bottom, line it up with the opening, and there again, it just kind of follows that opening, like so. I'm going to do it across the bottom. I need 2 of these as well. You're going to fold these in instead of out, because you want the sticky side in to cover up your stick to your box. Now I'm going to take off the tape backing. I got an email. I tried to add some music. I'm not obviously very good at it. To the other YouTube I did yesterday, and I screwed it up, and the music went on forever, and then it stopped, and then there was no vocal. You couldn't hear me, and on and on. And I got an email this morning from one of my followers. They couldn't hear it. And they couldn't, and I did fix it. So if you've watched the one we did yesterday and you couldn't hear it, you can now, because I fixed it. I don't know how I fixed it. I'm not, real savvy at this, but anyway, I fixed it. You can hear it now. So it's called what is it called? The card box. It's a small mini card box and it made from paper. It's just exactly like this, other than it's just made with one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. And when you finish with them, with the 12 by 12 paper, this was a little long, so I'm going to trim it off. No big deal. When you finish with the 12 by 12 one in paper, and then you cover it with, I just trimmed that end off. It was a little long. When you finish with your paper, it makes it a little sturdy. It's sturdy enough. I mean, it makes it sturdy with your paper. It depends on how heavy your paper is as well. And you could use a heavier cardstock. I used a craft cardstock to make it. And it's not the heaviest. It's all right. And then I covered it. And believe me, they're stronger than they look. They really are. Or that one is especially. These are because they're made out of chipboard. And this is medium weight chipboard. This is nice sturdy chipboard. This is what I make my books out of. I have several little YouTubes with various things I made, books. I have a series. I think I had about 8 or 9 videos for the parts to the video making a book. Put this down like so, cover it up. So see, here we are. We got one more to put there. It's not almost, but not quite big enough. This video is going to be a little longer than normal. They've been allowing this to go a little longer, but I don't know. If it gets too long, I might have to do this in 2 sessions. We will see. Okay, now, here we go again. We're going to put this on. And it just cups over that very nicely. And there you go. I've got them just a hair long, so I'm going to, you just trim them off. It's no big deal. And sometimes I take my sanding tool and kind of sand over them, and you could put a little Claudine Helmets sealer on it if you wanted to. I normally don't, but you can. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take my frayed burlap and I'm going to do the edges. You can use any one you want. The frayed burlap kind of lend itself to the paper I'm going to use. I think I'm going to go back and put a couple across the top and the side. I did on the black one. I didn't on the other one I made, but I think I will. Okay, I think I will. On the black one, around the top here and here, I put the construction strip. Now on this one, I didn't. So I'm going to on this. We're going to do the long one first. I need 2 of them. I'm going to get low on construction strips. Thought I had enough. Now, when you do this one down the side, I'm going to have to cut this off at the top. That's okay. There we go. Pull off your tape backing and see it makes a little cut like that because that stops up there. Pull off your tape backing. I start at the bottom like so, kind of butt it up, lay it on that line and just stick it down and see where you cut that off. Yeah, that looks nice. Now you do the same on the other side. Butt that up, bring it up. I'm going to cut that off before we lay it down. I'm going to take just a hair. I got my scissors gummed up. I'm going to continue on with this. They let us go a little longer. If they shut us off, then I'll have to redo it. I have a Ustream program that I'm on 2 hours every Tuesday. Kind of get used to that time. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to put one across here. And you're going to have to kind of trim that down as well a little bit. There we go. Because of these angles, I'm going to cut another one while I'm cutting. So you got a lot of scraps that you can use for this as well. And then just kind of do a little nick out of the top, not a lot. And it kind of meets with that, that other part. You're going to lay it down just like we did the others. Just kind of bring it in there. And lay it down. I got that one a little short. And there we go on that side. So you have both of those sides covered, and we need just one more across the back. We're good to go and start putting on our paper. I hope we're all right. I don't want them to stop us. We'll see. I've seen a lot of them, they're a lot longer. Oh, we're going to cut this down just a wee bit, just a little too long. And it's still just a little bit. You can always take it off. You can't put it back. I'll lay this in like so. Oh, it's still too wide. I thought Okay, there we go. Bring this up to the line. Stick it down. There we go. Now it's all, well, that didn't, but that's okay. No, I can't. It's okay. It is okay. And then I'm going to stain this as well. Stain this as well. We needed one more across the front. One more right here. Okay. Right, there we go. I forgot that one. I've cut out the papers for the, I'm going to line this with the inside and outside. Put this down, fold it down. There we go. And I've already got the papers cut out. Now, we're at 28 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, there is your box. Now, you have to cut the same thing, and there again, they have to be mirror images. If you have, this is not directional paper, but if you have directional paper, they need to be a mirror image. So you need to be very careful with that. I haven't cut, these are the outside pieces, and these are the inside pieces. So while I'm here, I'm going to mark these and cut these very quickly because I think we're kind of running out of time. That's for the inside. There again, if it's directional, and the reason I keep reiterating on this is the fact that, believe me, I have not done that. And consequently, They were either upside down, they were backwards, whatever. Of course, you can do them over, but the point being is you don't have to do that. So you cut that off like so, and you'll be cutting a piece off like that. Cut it off on both sides, and then there again, here we are. We have a mirror image. What's it? This is the inside. Okay, start putting these down. I'm just going to use like an ATG. I'm going to use my ATG gun. I can see it a little better. You do not have to use score tape, or you can use glue as well. I usually use my ATG gun. And just bring it up, and it's about 1/4 of an inch. The way I cut this is about 1/4 of an inch or so. It looks a little wider, but that's okay. Like so. You can bring it up to the edge and not cover your outer seams, but I like them covered. Okay, there we go. Here's our spine. You don't need to decorate these a lot because they line up together on your shelf or counter or wherever you put them, kind of side by side. So, in my opinion, you don't. I didn't get that one. There is your back and your sides. We're going to do the front. As I say, they line up. So here's the front. Now I've made a little plate on my computer. I just here is the bottom. I made a little plate on the computer that just says cards. You could use this for small framelit dies, opposed to the big, the one we made the other day was for the big steel dies and framelit dies that are in larger packages. Or you can make it for anything. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do the inside. Do it the same way. And they've been cut to be 1/4 of an inch smaller as well, because you don't see that. I'm going to get this here. I'm going to run out of tape. Wouldn't you know? So I just bring this in and just kind of set it down. Get it kind of set down, and then just put it down and go in and burnish it like so. Same way with the other side. I'm going to run out of tape. I just did. Okay, we'll use the other one. That's okay. I have these loaded and ready, I tell you, because I'm always running out of tape. This one I like. It's a 1/2 inch tape, but the only thing is I can't hardly see it, and I always get off the edge. Oh well. But it's good, and I think I've got an ATG gun that's a 1/2 inch as well. I think the 1/2 inch tape, for some reason, is stronger than the 1/4 inch. But just set it down in the bottom, line it up with your 1/4 of an inch that you've allowed, and stick it down and burnish it with your hand. There's the other side. Now we're going to do the spine. Do the same thing. I can't see this one as well. I don't know. I can't see where it ends on the right-hand side. I can see the left-hand side. But the other one you see better. Now this is for the bottom. I mean the spine. Do the same thing. Just put it in there. And it's going to show that 1/4 of an inch. But that's the point. And then we're going to do the bottom. Now I'm going to check this bottom to make sure. Yeah, it fits. Okay. Because I trimmed these down, and I want to make sure. And we're going to do the same thing, kind of allow, and just stick it down. Oh, it's a little. Yeah, it's a little crooked. I want it this way. I'm going to do it this way because I don't like that look. There we go. And then I also cut one for the inside of the front, unless you turn it upside down and look at it. But my mother was a seamstress, and I used to sew, and it was always make everything look as well on the inside as you do the outside. That was the point of French seaming back in the day. And I'm sure a lot of you either do or don't remember that. Just stick it down. Now we have the inside, and as I say, you have to turn it upside down to see that. We have the inside all covered, the outside all covered. Now the only thing we have left to do, I made a little tag that says cards. I cut it out with a Tim Holtz die cut. I got this from scrapadabadoo.com. It's Tim Holtz's labels, and I love it. And I used one of the labels, and then I also have a piece of chipboard. I cut this out of cardstock, but I have a piece of fine chipboard that you can cut with scissors. It's lightweight chipboard. You can also get that at scrapadabadoo.com. So I cut that out, and then I cut out the papered label and glued it on top, and it makes it a little sturdier and it stands out a little bit. Now, oh dear, I can't move. Oh, I am going to just I'm trying. See, ooh, don't move, please don't move. Well, I can't get to it. I was going to use a small dimensional on here, and I can't get to it. But it doesn't need to stick out too far, but just to give it a little. But it's also got the chipboard behind it, so consequently, it'll stand down a little bit, and you put it right in. Now, whatever you're going to use this for, if you're going to use it for cards or you're going to use it for other things, that's what you need to put on the front. So there we are. Now, there's no reason to do anything here because, as I say, they're all going to set like so on your counter. Now, these are all the chipboard boxes, like so. They sit like this, and I think they're really cool, but you could use them for anything. There are small packages of framelits and embossing folders, etc., that you could use your cards. And there again, I think it'd make a really cool gift to make a 10 cards, 10 envelopes, stick in here, wrap a ribbon, give or mail or whatever. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. My website is craftyladydesigns.com. I'll put that down at the bottom. And if there's any questions, please leave me an email at gcastile.comcast.com, and I'll try to answer them. I will be saving this, of course, and you can go back and watch it. I'm assuming it'll save. If it's too big and they won't allow me to save it, then I'll have to either redo it or think about it. Thank you for joining me. I hope it was helpful, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.